Where are you going?
I think that we're on. We're going to Darjeeling.
Darjeeling? From Calcutta to Darjeeling, I have done my share of healing. With a little jabby in the Punjab, I have cured the biri-wiri and the dreaded dysentery.
I love you.
I thank you.
Bye.
You are going to watch some pretty pictures of our trip from New Jalpaiguri station up to Darjeeling while you listen to Ed rant about our train trip.
We had to check out of our hotel in Varanasi at 11 a.m. We had decided to just go straight to the station, even though our train was only scheduled for departure at 9 p.m. We thought, hey, we'll chill on the station for a couple of hours. How bad can it possibly be? Well, this is how bad it could possibly be. Eventually, we ended up sleeping in the station master's office after the train was delayed and delayed again and delayed again and again and again and again and again. We eventually ended up sleeping in said station master's office on an extremely uncomfortable, hard steel bench with rats literally scuttling around under our feet. No kidding, rats. Rats. Nice. We were both dead on our feet. And at one point, Kim very wearily leant against my shoulder as we were standing there waiting for this almost now phantom train to arrive. And we were summarily scolded by one of the station master's colleagues for, I quote, kissing in public. You know, in India, this is not done. So there was much apologizing and explaining of cultural differences and genuflecting and bowing and scraping and ass kissing. And eventually, Mr. Indignant Assistant Station Master went and sat down with his cup of chai sullenly and stared at me for the rest of the night. Said train was supposed to arrive, like I said, at 9 p.m. Eventually, it rocked up at 6 a.m. the following day. The trip itself was supposed to take 17 hours. It took 23 hours. Now bear in mind that we were in second class, or as it's known there, 2AC. Now 2AC consists of 2 berths on one side of the train, an extremely narrow corridor, and then another 4 berths on the other side of the train. There are 6 of these sort of cubicles in one carriage. No, there are 8 of these cubicles in one carriage. So that equals 48 people. Bearing in mind that all that separates you from the corridor and all the prying eyes coming past is a very well used Indian Railways issue, extremely grubby curtain. A curtain, not a door, not a partition, bugger all, a curtain. The bunk itself is only about 2 feet wide, made of, I don't know, nails. And bear in mind there is nowhere to lock your kit away, so we had to chain, with bicycle chains, our backpacks to the bunks. Now, what's left of that space, once your backpack has taken up half of the bunk, is left for one's body. This is not a lot of space. So, yeah, good times. And don't even get me started about the toilets. Anyway, yeah, it's just too gross to contemplate. Eventually, we arrived at New Jalpaiguri station on Monday, the 7th of March at 6 a.m. after having left Mughal Sarai on the 6th, which happens to be my birthday. So I spent my 42nd birthday on a second-class train going to Darjeeling with my lovely wife and 46 complete strangers, with nothing separating me from them but a aforesaid curtain. Arriving at New Jalpaiguri station, we shared a taxi with a couple who we'd met on the train, and then started our 88-kilometer drive up the mountain to Darjeeling. 88 kilometers, an hour you think? No, try 3. Eventually we arrived at Hotel Ivy Castle at 8:30 a.m. on the 7th of March, to much relief.
It's just after 6 in the morning on Tuesday the 8th of March, and we're in Darjeeling, and we only had one day here, and I was wanting to do a little video to show you the scenery, but it's been really cloudy the whole day, and it still is, but we're like right on the top of, well, you can't really see that we're on the top of anything because all of that is cloud. Darjeeling is a little town, well, it's not so little, perched in the foothills of the Himalayas, which on a clear day you can allegedly see from here, but it has been anything but clear. But this town is absolutely beautiful, and the people are so friendly, and you don't get hassled in the streets. It's just absolutely divine. Getting here was a swine. Basically, we were on the road for like 36 hours and got here a day late. It was a complete bitch. It has put us off the Indian railways for life. But this place has been absolutely divine. And we're really sad that we only had one day here. We're going back down the mountain now to about 65 kilometers to a place called Bagdogra, where they have an airport, and we are then taking a flight to Delhi. But if this clears up at all, if the view improves, I'll do another little video on our way down the mountain.
After the infuriating train trip and the 3-hour drive up to Darjeeling, we both had a quick shower and spent the rest of the day exploring the hillside town. It would take a maze rat at least a week to get used to all the zigzaggy roads that are intersected by steep walkways, like crazy steep. We had breakfast, or rather brunch, at Glenary's Cafe, which had the air of a quaint Swiss cafe, bedecked and betummied with French patisserie, not something that we encountered often in India. After our breakfast, we jauntily wandered down to Happy Valley Tea Plantation after passing on the taxi driver's extortionistic offers, where we had a quick tour of the production plant and a wander around the plantation before embarking on the less than jaunty vertical ascent, wishing that we had paid the stupid taxi driver's outlandish fee. We eventually got back to the top and collapsed at Kevinter's Cafe, where I had a lovely rosewater milkshake. Darjeeling is a genteel town. The people have an elegant sense of purpose. There seems to be much less harassment on the streets and in the shops, and Ed and I felt comfortable and relaxed browsing through the shops. So we decided that this was the place we would buy Skye's birthday present. We bought him a Tibetan prayer wheel and a gorgeous mosaic Nepalese teapot. Two rather cool items that we also picked up were a woolen Sherpa hat from the town where Sherpa Tenzing Norgay settled after his successful summit of Mount Everest. And it is not often that one gets to say that one bought some Darjeeling tea in Darjeeling. Anyway, while we were snaffling around the trinkets and goodies, we met a wonderful young couple from Goa who were on holiday in Darjeeling. They were a lovely mix of curious, informative, verbose, and attentive. He is a fighter pilot in the Indian Navy. Yes, he's the guy who lands the jets on the aircraft carriers like in Top Gun, and has visited Cape Town, where he was stationed in Simonstown at the naval base. He was super inquisitive about our country and very happy to satiate our various curiosities about his. I think that had the circumstances been different, we could have and would have spent much more time with these two wonderful people. We dined at Glenary's once again that evening after a really long, really happy day in India. We missed out on a few things that we were looking forward to doing or seeing in Darjeeling, including a trip on the Darjeeling Himalayan Railway, aka the toy train, which was founded in 1881 and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is one of only a handful of mountain railways still operating in India, and the railway's trains, most of which are still steam-powered, run on a narrow 2-foot gauge railway line. The trains look like Thomas the Tank Engine. Tourists can take joy rides down the Darjeeling Hill to Goom and back. We also did not have a chance to visit Tiger Hill, from where, on a crystal clear day, it is alleged one can see Mount Everest. What you certainly can see on most days, and what Tiger's Hill is known for, is the third highest peak in the Himalayas, Mount Kinchenjunga. There are crowds of jeeps that wend their way up to Tiger Hill every morning in time for sunrise. That must be quite a majestic sight. We will just have to go back, and pretty soon. The downward trip from Darjeeling to Bagdogra was interesting to say the least. On the uphill journey, we had shared a taxi with another couple. The trip cost us 2,000 rupees, so each couple paid 1,000 rupees, which is approximately 250 rand. We were expecting to fork out a similar price for the return trip. As we were meandering down to the taxi rank in the morning, a jeep pulled up alongside us to solicit our business. "You going to Siliguri?" he asked. Neither Ed nor I had any clue, and we were innately suspicious, so we told him that we needed to get to Bagdogra Airport. He laughed and told us that the tuk-tuks run from Siliguri to Bagdogra Airport and New Jalpaiguri Station, servicing both methods of transport. We asked him if we would make it to the airport by 11 a.m., and he nodded in the affirmative. When we then cautiously asked him what price he was going to charge us for the trip, and were astounded when he said 130 rupees each. What? 260 rupees for both of us. That's 65 rand for both of us. Too good to be true, we threw our luggage up on top of the roof and settled in. We learned that this jeep was the equivalent of a hillside minibus taxi. Our driver did a lot of picking up and dropping off of passengers on our 3-hour trip down the mountain. At times we were so squashed in that we almost couldn't breathe, but we were just happy that we had managed to negotiate our own transport and that we were able to make it to the airport in time for our flight. The 65-kilometer trip took 3 hours because we were descending from just over 2,100 meters above sea level down to just over 100 meters above sea level. This makes for interesting road conditions at the best of times, and these were not the best of times. There is a lot of road maintenance and many stop-go bypasses on the narrow, double-lane winding road, which, as in the rest of India, is teeming with an assortment of heaving, breathing, living life.